Hey, what's up, everybody? New Christian Dad. And just wanted to talk a little bit about that Roseanne reboot. I don't know if you guys saw the Roseanne reboot, but we did. We were kind of excited. I grew up in a secular home, and, where we didn't go to church, and there was not a lot of talk about God. And I remember I was born in 1980, so I remember watching Roseanne. And I liked the show. It was like this American family. They weren't perfect, but it was what it was. And there wasn't anything like there was some controversial stuff, but it was nothing like this. Now, I'm just gonna say that we don't watch a lot of TV. We watch like once in a while. We'll choose something, and our kids do watch like cartoons and Netflix. And I just wanted to touch on a few things. And number one, Roseanne, so it starts out innocently enough. We started it out. We were watching it. Kids were in the room. And, we're loving it. It was hilarious. That it started out, it was really funny. I watched Roseanne when I was a kid. And then all of a sudden, you see Darlene, who was Roseanne's daughter. And then she is a single mother, and she has a son. So the son, it turns out, is a cross-dressing little boy. So now we turned it off as quick as possible. We watched just like a few minutes of it, and the kids were distracted, thank God. And I'll just say this, man. Number one, it really was disturbing to see that there was nobody in the show was correcting this kid. Nobody was stepping up, being the calm in the storm, and telling this kid what they needed to hear. And that was that boys don't wear dresses. Girls wear dresses. Boys don't wear dresses. Honestly, if you're a parent and your son comes to you and says, I want to wear a dress, the first thing you should tell them is, what the heck happened? What's wrong with you? Where did you learn that from? That's not right. Little boys don't wear dresses. I actually had a huge argument online with someone in my family because they said that they put their family friend. They said that they put their little boy in princess dresses, and then I was asinine and a terrible human being who shouldn't have my own children, because I said I disagreed with that, and I was pretty diplomatic about it. So, if you've ever had any kind of debates online with, people who hate Christians and, normal people, then you know what I'm talking about. But, not only was did it show like terrible parenting on Darlene's part, that she was not correcting. She was just like, hey, he likes it, whatever. Your kids are going to come to you saying they like a lot of crazy stuff that's not good for them. And it's your job as the parent to say, absolutely not, that's wrong. I'm the grown-up here. I'm teaching you how to be a boy and then how to grow into a man. There was no mention of the father. And then, everybody's comments about it were, like, supportive. Like, hey, how can we, hey, I hope nobody is making any comments, and yeah, if anybody says anything, do this or that. And I'll tell you what, like, if you're letting your little boy wear dresses and going into public school, I'm not saying it's okay to bully, because that's obviously wrong, but I'm just saying that you should not be surprised if there's a lot of comments, at least just weird looks, because it's strange and it's not right. There is an absolute right and wrong, and it's absolutely wrong for boys to wear dresses. So, boom. And, so, and I also think it's not really fair to parents, to have to explain to their children who saw this or caught a glimpse of it, why, this person is letting their little boy wear a dress. Not the right time, not the right place. And I think I have a real problem with secular television in that sense. And so, also, beside that is I used to watch The Walking Dead, and I do still watch it, and although now I try to watch it, when my kids are not around, or they're doing something else, because not only the violence, but every time I watch it, I think to myself, man, what am I even doing? But I had a similar situation where, The Walking Dead was on, my kids were running around, and there were these two men characters who were gay. And then there was also like a whole like lesbian relationship too. So if you want to imagine having that discussion with your 5 or 6 year old, then go ahead and watch that show. Another thing, I remember when the Beauty and the Beast came out, I remember there was this whole thing about LaFoe being gay or liking Gaston or whatever, right? And I was all gung-ho, like I'm not watching any more Disney. I have small kids, so you can imagine how hard that is. And I actually watched it this week, and we watched The Beauty and the Beast, and I honestly did not pick up on anything from LaFoe. He just seemed kind of like a pansy-ish guy, and who was like sycophantic to Gaston, but I didn't pick up any kind of like gay vibe. Maybe like a teeny bit, maybe like effeminate, but I don't know what that whole stink was about that. It was really blown out of proportion. I'm a very conservative Christian person and also a libertarian. So, for me to see it, I think it was not a big deal. But there's a lot of talk about, the next Frozen. And I saw this Facebook post by Planned Parenthood where they said, Disney has to have a princess that had an abortion. Disney has to have a princess that is a lesbian. Disney has to have a princess that, is all this stuff. It was just like really repugnant and horrible to see. And so I'm really disturbed by that. And another thing about the Beauty and the Beast was before even people even knew like what it was about LaFoe being, gay or whatever. I saw in my Facebook feed, all these Christian people, some of them were like kind of worldly Christians, kind of like hipster type Christians that were like, just throwing caution to the wind. And they were like, they heard these things and they were like, taking their kids to see this, Beauty and the Beast. And, looking back, that definitely like made me really, really mad that they were like, who cares? In my opinion, if Christians that I respect and know stand up and say, hey, look, there might be an objectionable part of this movie that's coming out, whether it's like something gay or some kind of cross-dressing weird stuff like Roseanne, I am going to like look in depth at what they're talking about before I take my children to a theater where we're like a captive audience and we're stuck in there watching this. I don't want to spend $10 and I have to walk my kid out or cover his eyes because some little boy is getting dressed up like a girl, and all the adults in this show are affirming that and saying that it's okay, it's normal, when they should be stepping up and correcting them like a parent should. That's your job, to protect them from people like that would allow that stuff. Last thing I want to say is, we started a subscription to this PureFlix. I don't know if y'all have heard of it. It's actually pretty good. It's a good alternative to Netflix. And they have a lot of different stuff, a lot of educational stuff, and it's $11.99 a month. It's the same price as Netflix. We watched a ton of good Christian movies, and every single movie that we watched was like, you didn't have to have any worry in your heart about whether your kid was going to walk in on a movie and see, some weird stuff like a cross-dressing person or or God forbid, like what I saw in The Walking Dead was out of nowhere, 2 guys just boom kissed. It's like, oh, there's some stuff you can't unsee, and with kids it's doubly so. So I just want to say, check out PureFlix. It's $11.99. It's well worth it. And I know on Netflix I had a problem with my son had total control over it, and he was watching Netflix, and there was a lot of different cool shows. They're all safe. No swearing. And then there was this show called Shizao. This is something that you parents have to watch out for. This is really, really sneaky. And this show, it's called Shizao. It's about a boy who becomes a female superhero. You can't make this stuff up. Called Shizao. Basically a boy, a little boy, normal boy, turns into a woman superhero. So, you know, you can imagine my shock and total freaking out, you know, and my son is like loving the show, and he actually like really was watching it for a little while and liked it. And, you know, just look out for that show. I don't know if it's still on there, but we have since kind of taken control of the Netflix, and I really just took for granted that it would be safe no matter what, and that's not the case. Even Netflix, you got to watch out for. So, and now, like I said with the Roseanne, you know, now you got to watch out for that. You know, any of these shows. I mean, we don't watch a lot of TV, like I said, but that was really an eye opener. We hadn't watched a TV show, I think, in years. We turned this on, everything's normal, it's funny. There's Dan, there's Roseanne, ha ha ha. Still blow, you know, a flashback from the 80s, and it was great. We're laughing, and you know, and then this little boy comes out in a dress, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's okay. Don't let anybody say anything bad about you," you know. So, yeah. But anyway, that's it. I thank y'all for just watching and you know, supporting my channel. I've been doing this, you know, for I don't know, this year, and I encourage you to check me out on YouTube. I always upload everything on there, and you know, that's that. So God bless y'all, and enjoy this Wednesday. We call it Hump Day because it's the middle of the week. I'm on 7 days straight of work, and I'm going to work tomorrow. But I'd appreciate y'all praying for me too, because I might go back to school and also try to take my CDL test, and we'll see how that all goes. But anyway, y'all parents, just watch out for the TV, and definitely do not let your kids watch Roseanne. There is like a cross-dressing little boy who is just totally unrealistic personality, and pretty disturbing to see. And also, don't be afraid to watch Beauty and the Beast like I was with my kids. I feel like a total idiot now. Definitely, like definitely the guy was a little pansy-ish. You got to watch out. You know, make sure your kids know that being like effeminate and like, you know, like that is not how a boy and a man should be. But it's really not objectionable. But anyway, thanks y'all for watching. Like I said, God bless y'all, and be careful with that all that TV. And definitely pray about it. Pray to protect your eyes and your children's eyes. And you should be specific in your prayers, because God is almighty. He loves you. Like my last meme, I don't know if you saw that artwork. Nobody can take you out of Jesus' hand. And if you are saved, then you have the Holy Spirit in you. And it's no longer you, but Christ that lives in you. So God bless y'all. Peace.